Hey, what's up, everyone? Lee Sanders here, 411mania.com reporter and columnist. You're checking out an all-new The RCWR show, covering all things wrestling, entertainment, and beyond since 2011. Here we are. We're just a couple of days away from WrestleMania weekend, a two-night event. And you know, one of my favorite things to do is our Call That Match edition of the RCWR show, where I offer you guys match predictions along with the preview of these pay-per-view cards. We haven't done one of these as a standalone episode in a good minute here. And man, with this two-night event that's WrestleMania, we got a loaded up card. So hey, without any further ado, I say let's go ahead. Let's get into your WrestleMania 38 preview and predictions. Call that match style. Right now, as it stands at the time of this recording, we have 14 matches that's going to be going down here. Yes, you heard me right. 14 matches that's going to be going down. So night one of WrestleMania 38, which is going to be going down April 2nd, sees Charlotte Flair defending the SmackDown Women's Championship against the rowdy one, Ronda Rousey. Love the way that this particular match has been built up over the past several weeks. From the moment Ronda Rousey won the Royal Rumble, you just personally felt she's going after Charlotte. Didn't really make sense for her to go after Becky Lynch, although it would have been most welcome, but you just felt, Bianca Belair, big comeback story, a whole year of a build up, circling back. You just felt, Becky, Bianca, leave it where it is. Charlotte, Ronda, yes, hands down, yes. So I've liked the way that this has been going about so far. I would say for night one, this definitely should be one of the most stellar kick-ass matches of the night. I'm going to go with Ronda Rousey as your new SmackDown Women's Champion. I'm going to go in that direction. I would not be surprised. Look, I'm sure Fox has been loving it that they have been given access to Ronda Rousey these past several weeks, because after all, Fox, they are all about them good hard-hitting sports. You think about Fox, first thing that comes into your mind is NFL, but you also can't help but think about at one point when they had that relationship going on with the UFC and all that, when they were dipping their toes into the MMA there. So the fact that they've been having access to Ronda Rousey all this time, I would not be surprised, too, if Fox executives, hey, man, we love what's going on with Ronda there. I would not be surprised if maybe a few executives might have, hey, look, we're not trying to tell you what to do with your show, but, hey, we really, really like Ronda, right? But one thing that you got to remember in regards to Ronda Rousey and, all things considered, when she, ultimately left and all of that, right? One thing that you got to consider is the fact that Ronda Rousey, she has yet to really have that career-defining WrestleMania moment since she has been a wrestler. And what I mean by that is, since she's been in the WWE, she has yet to really, look, don't get me wrong. She was a Raw Women's Champion, a one-time Raw Women's Champion. We also remember one-time Slammy Award winner as well. We also remember that as well. But she never has had that defining, okay, I'm going to the WrestleMania for this year as a champion. We never did really see her, in that kind of moment, if you will. So I'm really looking forward to seeing her, most importantly, in front of a big-ass freaking crowd. I'm looking forward to seeing her, all the confetti that drops, holding that championship high in the air. Now, I'm curious if this is going to be closing out night one of WrestleMania. I'm most curious if that's what's going to be going down here. If not, then actually, no. Night one is supposedly gonna close out to Kevin Owens and Steve Austin. That's the report that's going around right now. And if that's not going to be the case, then you can't help but wonder if, maybe these girls are going to. I'm kind of a little bit behind on my news and information right now as far as what's going to be closing out what. So you guys got to forgive me if it's slightly outdated here. But yeah, I'm for all intents and purposes, I'm definitely going to be going with Ronda Rousey as your new SmackDown Women's Champion. Charlotte Flair, I think the Charlotte Flair character, everything about the Charlotte Flair character has been built up for this moment. It's been built up for this particular moment. And I don't know what happens right here as far as Charlotte Flair goes. Does Charlotte Flair maybe disappear for a little bit? Is maybe that what happens here, or what? Because Charlotte Flair, she has been going at it for such a long period of time, man. A long period of time. You just can't help but wonder if this is the point where maybe Charlotte Flair takes a little bit of time off, maybe for 2 months, recharges her batteries a little bit, comes back, maybe picks things up with Ronda Rousey. You can't help but wonder, because the other thing that you got to think about too is Bayley should not be too far behind as far as returning there. So I don't know, there's a lot of stuff that's up in the air right now, but I'm gonna go with Ronda Rousey there. Definitely gonna go with her. Let's see. Yeah, let's not also forget when Ronda Rousey was the women's champion, what was it, at WrestleMania there, the winner takes all, Becky Lynch had pinned Ronda to pretty much win both titles there. So for me, it's a little bit of a full circle kind of comeback story in a lot of ways for Ronda Rousey here. So Seth Freakin Rollins taking on a opponent to be determined, as Mr. McMahon will announce Rollins' opponent on the night of the event. Now, I alluded to this earlier in the week. Check out Monday's RCWR show. I did a really good job in trying to condition you all on what you can expect, because for weeks now we've had people that's been under the impression, oh, it's going to be Cody Rhodes, and week after week after week people have just been building themselves up, and man, the come down when the folks haven't been getting what they want, it has been just beyond disappointing. It has just been downright sad seeing some people throwing a pissy hissy fit, throwing stuff on the floor, boycotting WWE, and saying all kinds of F-bombs and stuff. And I still feel as though Cody Rhodes may not appear until the Raw after WrestleMania. I know that we're in this day and age right now where it's all about instant gratification, but for those of us longtime wrestling fans, particularly those of us longtime WWE fans, we all know WWE's track record, which is the night after WrestleMania, they like doing any and everything in their power to make the Raw and SmackDowns after WrestleMania feel very special. They like to do a bunch of surprises, and as Cole in the game and as WWE have dubbed it over the years, hey man, this might be the Raw or the SmackDown after WrestleMania, but it's gotten to that point where you just go, yo, if you don't watch the Raw or SmackDown after Mania, you're going to be missing out on some major buzz. Okay? So remember last year was I remember there was a lot of people complaining about the Raw and SmackDown after Mania. And that was despite the fact that we were still dealing with the pandemic. A lot of people felt that, well, you know what? Whenever WWE gets ready to do SummerSlam, that pretty much is really going to be their true season. That's when things are really going to get back to normal and things are going to be popping again. So, look, as I had said on Monday, I really feel in my heart of hearts that we need to condition ourselves as fans rather than try to figure out what all is going to be happening, who's going to appear, and all of this. If it's wishful thinking that some of you guys are doing, I'm totally down with that. But if it's not wishful thinking and it's a case where you're going, well, this is what's going to happen. I know it's going to, you're building yourself up, and man, the come down is going to be, what I like it if Cody Rhodes were to return at WrestleMania. I think that would be a really cool moment in front of a Texas crowd. That Texas crowd, they know they're wrestling. They know they're wrestlers. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he would get a great ovation. But if it was up to me personally, and this is where I give my official predictions here, following up on what I said Monday, it could very well be Bill Goldberg, all things considered. When you watch the Goldberg at 54 special, you listen to Bill Goldberg on the Broken Skull sessions or any of the recent interviews / specials that Goldberg has done for WWE, particularly, Goldberg is at a place right now where he's truly appreciative of the wrestling business, of the fans. He has a fantastic relationship these days with Vince McMahon. He looks up to Mr. McMahon. He respects the hell out of him. He looks at him as a father figure, if you will, right down to the point. He's even said, I will do anything for that man. Now, what's kind of up in the air right now is, okay, so has Bill Goldberg wrestled his last match already with what he did at the, what was it? I can't think of the show right now where Bill Goldberg had last wrestled, but there's a lot of, okay, so is he done or does he have one more match? Let's just say, for the sake of the argument, no, he fulfilled all his commitments to WWE. He's fulfilled the contract. He's done all his dates. That's pretty much it. Well, with WrestleMania being around the corner, I would not be surprised. Elimination Chamber. That was the last time Bill Goldberg did something. It was against Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. That was February of this year. That was the last time. So, for all we know, let's just say he did do one more match and that was it. His contract with WrestleMania around the corner, it's very well possible that Vince McMahon and crew, hey, look, we got WrestleMania. We need all the star power that we can get. Can you do us a solid? Can you help us out? Make a new deal, do another one-off match. So it could be Bill Goldberg. Another person that it could be, and I tried to do my very best to condition you guys for this, and I find it funny because when I had said this name from Monday's show, like literally 2 days later or whatever, this news comes out that Shane McMahon is apparently going to be having something to do at WrestleMania weekend. And that just has a bunch of people up in the frenzy. Now, look, depending on some of the reports that's out there, some of you guys may be going, wait, what? But when you see the reputable sites that's saying, no, this very well looks like, for all intents and purposes, from the respective sources we've spoken to, this is actually going to happen. Shane McMahon, as I mentioned on Monday, that's another name that you got to brought up. And then remember the point that I made from Monday's show. If Shane McMahon does appear, and it turns out he's the opponent for Seth Rollins, you think back to those initial reports that was saying Seth was supposed to be involved in some type of a program with Shane O'Mac. And then all that stuff with the blowback about the Rumble match and all this other stuff. And then I said to you guys, wow, if it turns out the opponent is Shane McMahon, then was this always the trajectory? And as I said to you guys, as I conditioned you guys, the McMahons, they're never going to talk publicly about, hey, what was truly going on behind the scenes there with Shane McMahon, and what was he not getting his way? What exactly was going on here? So there's a lot that needs to be unraveled in there. But what would that say if the opponent turns out to be Shane McMahon? What would that say? That would have a lot of people kind of second guessing, I personally feel, on, so wait a minute, was there some type of friction? Was there some type of problems that was going on behind the scenes? Or because, wow, obviously seeing this man wrestle Seth, that kind of just blows that out the water as a bunch of BS, right? Am I right? So that's another name that you guys got to consider. Another one that you all strongly need to consider. It very well could be John Cena. John Cena has said repeatedly he misses wrestling in the WWE. He particularly misses wrestling for the WWE full time. He wants to get back to the WWE very, very, very soon. And we know that his Peacemaker series on HBO Max, that got picked up for another season. So congrats to him for that. And I don't know when's the last time some of you guys had saw his IMDb profile. I love going to IMDb because I can stay on top of some of my favorite actors and see what's going on with them as far as, you know, okay, what's these next batch of films that they got coming out and all that. Now, John Cena, it very well could go down. It could be John Cena, and I'm going to explain to you the reason why it could be John Cena. Right now, there are two movies that he is starring in. I see one that is called Snafu and another one that's called Argel. Both of those are in post-productions, along with a film called The Independent. That is also in post-production. Now, it's very important. I don't know how many of you guys know the film language mumbo jumbo, but when a film is in post-production, that's basically it. Everything has been filmed for the most part. The principal photography, everything's been filmed. Now they're just pretty much in the studios and they're just putting everything together. If in a rare case something needs to be reshot again, then so be it. But at this point, everything is just being put together. The scoring, all of that, credits, all of that. That's what's happening. So I'm seeing that there is two films that's filming right now with John Cena, Wile E. Coyote, and there's another one called Freelance. Those two are currently being filmed. And then there is one that is called the Jansen Directive, which is in pre-production right now. Pre-production. Okay, so everything hasn't officially just yet, you know, that's why it's pre-production. But as far as the other two, Wile E. Coyote and Freelance, I'm looking right here. I am trying to see. Okay, it's in production. It's expected July 21st of 2023. I'm trying to see what's going on with the filming location so far, and I'm not seeing anything. I'm not seeing anything right now as far as where it's being filmed. Give me a second here. I can tell you in a hot second. Yeah, nothing right now. I'm not seeing anything right now. I'm looking at Freelance. Let me look at Freelance here. Maybe there's something for Freelance. And Freelance right now, pretty much in the same ballpark. So mum is the word right now. It very well could be John Cena. John Cena could easily, especially if Vince McMahon is willing to hook up Cena with his private jet, right? Real freaking quick. it very well could be John Cena. So I gave you guys 3 good picks right there. If it's not Cody Rhodes, I said Shane O'Mac, Goldberg, John Cena. Okay. Now, as far as who I personally would like to see, who I think it might be, I've had time to sleep on it. I went with Goldberg on Monday. I'm going to go with Bill Goldberg again. It's a flip of a coin for me. It really is, but I'm edging out more for Bill Goldberg. If it's not going to be Bill Goldberg, then I can see it being John Cena. I will let you guys know straight up, I would be shocked as shit if it turns out to be Shane O'Mac. Cody would be a welcome surprise. But Shane O'Mac, man, I don't think Shane O'Mac is going to have a good ovation. Let me tell you that. But whoever this person is that's going to be popping up, I've got them beating Seth Rollins. So remember what I said. It's between Goldberg or John Cena. One of those two. But I got Rollins losing when it's all said and done. Let's keep rocking and rolling. Let's cover some more action here. Tag team action, for instance. New Day. Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston taking on Sheamus and Ridge Holland. I've been watching a little bit of what's been happening there with my man Butch, aka Pete Dunne. The team of Sheamus and Ridge Holland, they've been coming along. I'll definitely give them their respected ups and all that. I am going to go with New Day. I really feel as though look, perfect world, the Hills would go over. The Hills would freaking go over, but I just don't see that going down. Not for this match. Where the Hills go over, I don't see that going down on this one. And you know New Day is going to be coming now with their nice, cool WrestleMania attire and all. Yeah, a nice good feel moment. Nah. Meanwhile, Usos take on Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs tag match for the SmackDown tag titles. Usos are still on top of the world as far as I'm concerned. They are still the absolute best in the tag division, period, particularly on SmackDown. The team of Nakamura and Rick Boogs, personally, what I would like to see happen already, I would like to see Nakamura get back to basics as a straight up bona fide singles competitor. I would like to see him get away from this whole Rick Boogs stuff. I could see a scenario come about where Rick Boogs and Nakamura begin feuding with one another. I could legit see Rick Boogs turning on Nakamura. If I was booking this, I actually would have it go down, particularly if not on WrestleMania night, definitely WrestleMania SmackDown Fallout. I would definitely have Rick Boogs turn on Nakamura post-match. I would do it post-match. I would have Boogs just beat Nakamura down, pretty much shelf his ass. Nakamura's out for a couple of weeks, comes back with a vengeance and all that, right? Eye of the Tiger. He's missing the eye of the tiger right now, that Nakamura. I personally, that's how I would do it. I'm not seeing Nakamura and Boogs winning the SmackDown tag titles. I'm just not seeing that right now. I think as far as ultimately who could be that team that could get the tag titles away from the Usos, under the right circumstance, it very well could be Sheamus and Ridge Holland. You got something nice that's developing right there with those guys along with Butch. Under the right circumstance, I could see them ultimately taking away the tag titles. But on this night, no, Usos retain. Drew McIntyre versus Happy Corbin. Remember, at least until we get ready to go into SmackDown, unless he gets it back on SmackDown, Drew McIntyre's sword, Angela, has been stolen by Happy Corbin. And remember the other thing that we have constantly been reminded week after week after week, which is Happy Corbin has been undefeated since he became Happy Corbin. Oh joy, oh joy, oh joy, right? So, this is all about finally giving Happy Corbin that first defeat. I agree with a lot of you guys too. Of all the matches on the WrestleMania card, why are we being tortured with Happy Corbin, Madcap Moss, Drew McIntyre? Isn't it just so freaking sad? I mean, we just think about during the peak of the pandemic, Drew McIntyre carrying the company on his back, week in, week out, helping WWE navigate the waters of what was going on there with those virtual shows of Raw and SmackDown. Many of those I was a participant of, and just to now go to this particular moment here in his career, just a significant step backwards. I wouldn't blame some of you guys if you just said, nah, man, this needs to actually be on the pre-show. Bump that pre-show. But I'm going with Drew McIntyre. Rey Mysterio, Dominik Mysterio going up against The Miz and Logan Paul. Tag team match. Look, we've already seen Logan Paul bail out on Miz. We saw it play itself out this week on Monday's Raw. I think we've honestly gotten a taste of things to come. I do not see Miz and Logan Paul coming out of this with the dub. I do not see that happening whatsoever. And yeah, I think this is really going to be all about Rey and Dominik Mysterio. I see this match ending in a way where Miz is going to be the one to eat the pinfall or the submission when it's all said and done. Make no mistake about that. He will eat the pinfall or the submission. I can see Logan Paul, when it really counts the most, I can see Logan Paul bailing on Miz. I can see him just going, you know what? I've got my own respected name. I've got my own respected brand that I need to be thinking about. The hell with this. I'm out of here. I can see that playing itself out. Now, the real question is Logan Paul going to have a pretty damn good outing? I mean, now we kind of have this new standard given what Bad Bunny was able to do. I'm very curious to see how this young man is going to be able to hang in there with all of those guys. He's got a really good team as far as in-ring veterans go. So I'm most curious to see how he's going to be throwing it down. I'm going to be looking for pacing. I'm going to be paying attention to the footwork. I'm also going to be paying very close attention to chemistry. Those elements, all of those main elements, I'm going to be paying very close attention to when I'm watching Logan Paul make his official wrestling debut at WrestleMania. And I'm curious how you guys personally feel. You know, if you want to make some predictions, if you think he's going to do pretty good or if you think it's going to be weak sauce, I'm very curious where you all stand on this one. So definitely sound off. Let me know what you have as far as expectations go for Logan Paul here. You know, do you maybe see you can't. You just can't. I was going to say, do you maybe pull a 180 here? And do you maybe have Dominik Mysterio? I mean, that would really, if you really wanted to create a WrestleMania moment, I personally feel, it's just me personally, but if you really wanted to create a WrestleMania moment, just leading up into SmackDown, I would personally have a segment set up in a way where Miz and Logan Paul, they pull Dominik Mysterio to the side, or they happen to catch up to him backstage or whatever. And I could just picture, if it was up to me, I would have Miz say to Dominik, hey man, real talk right here. You got a lot of freaking potential. I'm sure you've heard many people say that to you time and time and time and time again. I mean, hell, look who your father is. You pretty much were born into this business. It is practically your birthright. Everything that you feel you deserve, you got it coming to you and then some. But yo, you've been in WWE now for how long? And you're still behind your dad's shadows. Are you really sure that this guy has your best intentions at heart? Or is he pretty much holding you back? Seriously, Dom, that's something that you need to think about. Because in this game, it's all about cash, right? Or checks and championships, right? It's all about stringing together those W's. And, I know it's a tough question you got to ask yourself because that's your father and you love him. But what are you willing to do to make sure you get to the top in this industry? Right? I would love to see Miz and Logan Paul just kind of have that type of pep talk with Dom, because I've patiently been waiting to see Dom turn on Ray Ray. So that would be a great WrestleMania moment, that instead of Logan Paul saying, bump this, I got a brand and all that to think about, I would personally love to see Dominik on the grandest stage of them all, getting that mega freaking heat, turn on his freaking dad. And then the fallout from that, you go into SmackDown. Ray trying to figure out what's going on here, trying to get a definitive answer. Dom comes out, pretty much gives it to him right between the eyes. That's how I personally would do it. So now the question becomes, after I've said that, I've really talked myself into this. So do we now go with Miz and Logan Paul with the win? And hey, this is what's going to happen here. Or do we go with Ray and Dominik Mysterio for the dub? I've really put myself in a very interesting corner here. I really, really have. I really, really have. I'm going to go with Miz and Logan Paul just to make it interesting. I'm going to go with Liz. I said Liz. I'm going to go with Miz and Logan Paul. That's where I'm going with that. I hope it pans out. I hope that it pans out. I hope that going into SmackDown, maybe that segment comes about. Maybe we'll see something like that. And all right, seeds have been planted. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Because if you don't do it here, if you don't do it with Dom here, where's your next opportunity per se? Where's your next opportunity going to be? I'm going to go with Miz and Logan Paul. Becky Lynch defending the Raw Women's Championship against Bianca Belair. This should be a damn good match of the night. I'm looking forward to seeing this one. This has been built up rather well. They've pretty much had a whole year, cooled off for a little bit, but when it counted the most and they needed to build it up, they built it up, and this is where we are right now. I've got to go with Bianca. This is going to be officially her WrestleMania moment right here. Everything just coming back full circle. Everything pretty much has led up to this point for Bianca Belair. And what better way to, hey man, Bianca Belair has officially arrived, doing it on the grandest stage of them all here at WrestleMania. I cannot see Becky Lynch walking out still the Raw Women's Champion. I don't see it going down right here. I'm seeing Bianca without a doubt, Bianca Belair for the retain right here. Let's not also forget we've got night one wrapping up there with hang on a second, guys. Let's not also forget my puppy is under the chair. And so she was kind of rubbing up against my leg for a little bit. I think my puppy just hurled just now. So hang on a second. Oh, no, she's actually she's chilling. She's just yawning. Okay. I thought she hurled. Really? You didn't do anything? No, she didn't do anything. Okay. All right. So she was just yawning. That's what I was hearing. Okay. Don't forget, we've got the Kevin Owens show, Stone Cold Steve Austin. That's supposed to be closing out night one. Look, the fact that if the reports are true and it's going to be that closing out, that should be a fantastic freaking moment. Look, remember what I said many weeks ago. I was, if not the first, I didn't see anybody else talking about it first until a couple of weeks after I brought it up, but I was the first. I wish I could actually pull up the episode where I had initially, but man, I probably mentioned it about off and on, probably mentioned it about a month and a half to 2 months ago. I said, look, how badass would it be if you get this moment where Texas's own come out and they're stomping a mud hole in Kevin Owens' ass, and you got all these great Texas legends that's just in the ring, and they're all sharing beers together and all of that. I could see JBL connecting with a devastating clothesline from hell. I could see freaking HBK, Shawn Michaels. I could see him delivering some nice, good old sweet chin music. Okay, I could see him definitely doing something there. I don't quite see Undertaker doing something. I don't see Undertaker doing anything simply because he's part of this year's Hall of Fame class. So as much as I would like to see Undertaker do a little something in there, I'm just not picturing it. I'm just not picturing it. You can pretty much forget about it. So I could see Booker T and maybe even Charmel getting a little bit physical there. I could see them doing a little something. So that would be pretty freaking badass. I think that's actually going to happen to Kevin Owens. I don't think it's, look, predominantly it's going to be Stone Cold Steve Austin beating that ass. But I could just see scenarios coming about where Kevin Owens tries to escape his ass whooping once he realizes he's backed himself into a corner. And then you just see those legends pop up, at like different points. He tries to go over a guardrail. Maybe JBL is right there, right? Whoops his ass. And then he goes over maybe to the ramp, and maybe HBK Shawn Michaels is there. I could see something of that magnitude going down, but the emphasis I feel is definitely going to be put on Steve Austin for those first few minutes. Open up a big fat can of whoop ass on Kevin Owens, just like in the old days. So that should be a pretty good moment right there. All right, so now we're going on to night two, which takes place on April 3rd. All right, so we've got here Queen Zelina and Carmella defending the women's tag titles against Sasha Banks, Naomi, Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, Natalya, Shayna Baszler. I'm not feeling what's been happening with this women's tag division. I've been very vocal about that many times, as recent as Monday. I'm not a fan of this whatsoever. I personally would like to see Rhea Ripley go back to basics as a singles competitor. I feel that WWE had took a significant step going backwards with her. That's just me personally. Liv Morgan, it just feels as though the Liv Morgan experiment is over and they just pretty much threw their hands up and said, yeah, whatever. Sasha Banks and Naomi, it's just, wow, so we're just throwing these two together and, nah, man. If anything, let's see Sasha and Naomi go at it. I am going to pick a dark horse here. I'm going to say new tag team champions. I'm going to say Natalya and Shayna Baszler. You talk about two of the absolute best. Shayna, let's be honest, since she went to SmackDown, really nothing has been happening for her. And she just came back recently. So, two of the very best in their own respected rights as tag team champions there. I there's even a part of me that wouldn't mind seeing Shayna Baszler get back to basics as a singles competitor too. I missed the Shayna Baszler that was coming up through NXT and all that. But I'm gonna go with new tag team champions. I'm gonna go with Natty and Shayna. But see, here's the thing: it's the next step forward that counts most. As far as okay, all right, that's great. You're putting the titles on these girls, but what are you going to do here going forward that is of great significance, right? That's what really most people are going to be so focused on. Anything goes match. Johnny Knoxville taking on Sami Zayn. This is not as one-sided as some of you guys may personally feel. I'm going to go with Johnny Knoxville. I think Johnny Knoxville is going to get help from his friends. I would not be surprised if maybe... Now, see, does Kevin Owens make an appearance here to help out his good old buddy there and Sami Zayn? I wonder. Something to think about, something to ponder about. But I got Johnny Knoxville winning this. Johnny's going to win with help from his friends. That's what I see going down on this one. Pat McAfee taking on Austin Theory. What a great build-up for, or rather a moment. What a great moment here for Austin Theory. Having Austin Theory get a nice little WrestleMania moment here. I'm going to go Pat McAfee. I'm going to go with Pat McAfee on this one. I'm going to go with Pat McAfee on this one, and I can just see some type of fallout coming out of this as a result of Austin Theory. Austin Theory, Vince McMahon, I can see a very heated exchange going on there. I can see it. It's as crystal clear. I can freaking see it. Yeah, I can definitely see something very interesting playing out after this. Where it ends in a way where I can see Austin Theory being pushed to the edge, kind of going to this guy snapped kind of mode. Where does that take him remains to be seen. Does he maybe stick it to, I don't know, AJ Styles? Does he maybe stick it to Brock Lesnar? Like, what exactly? You feel where I'm coming from? Does he maybe stick it to a returning Cody Rhodes? Something to think about. But I'm going to go with Pat McAfee. RK Bro defending the Raw Tag titles in a triple threat match against the Street Profits and Alpha Academy. This should be a damn good match. This should be one of the matches of the night. Too close to call right here for me personally. I'm going to go with RK Bro. Yeah, I'm going to go with RK Bro in this one. Edge versus AJ Styles. Well, didn't AJ just resign? Could have sworn there was a report AJ just resigned from a few weeks ago. AJ still has not gotten his comeuppance here. He needs to get the big payback. He's got a receipt. He needs to cash in there on Edge. This should be the slobber knocker match of the night. This should be the, what does Booker T say? The shaducky duck quack quack or shuckety duck quack quack, whatever. This should be that moment right here. Jesus, where do you go from here? Edge, AJ. I mean, I am literally, this is too close to call, man. Well, you would like to believe that whoever comes out of this particular matchup maybe they will try to make a claim that they should be going after the unified champion. You would like to make that argument, right? So I'm going to go with AJ. I'm going to go with AJ Styles. Bobby Lashley taking on Omos. So WrestleMania weekend, is this going to be the weekend where we have two guys with singles undefeated streaks come to an end? I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yes. Bobby Lashley just coming back. For everything that Bobby Lashley, this is, look, it's not a bad consolation wait. What about the MVP effect? Remember what I had said earlier there on previous shows. I was, if not the first, one of the first that you guys can recall. I said, why not pair up MVP with Omos? If you really want to make this interesting, have MVP. You notice there when Lashley did return, there was no MVP. So I know we got some of those so-called reports that's running around about MVP not wanting to do the valet stuff anymore. Until we actually see MVP say that in an interview or publicly on social media, take that as a grain of salt. What a moment that, you know what? I think there's going to be some shenanigans going down in this one, actually. I think there's going to be some shenanigans going down. I'm going with Omos. Don't be too surprised if MVP gets involved in this one and I get my wish and he sides with the big man. Don't be too surprised about that one. All right. Winner takes all to unify the WWE Championship and the WWE Universal Championship. Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. Mano y mano, man. Mano y mano. I have been enjoying the reign of Roman Reigns. This whole God mode heel run, I've been loving it, man. And I'm not quite ready to see this end. And let's not also forget, Roman Reigns has yet to beat Brock Lesnar's ass at a WrestleMania. You also got to keep that in mind. At this point, you have had Roman Reigns as your champion this far. This long now. This far, this long now. When you have this guy lose, you need to have this guy lose to somebody that is pretty much an up-and-comer, somebody that's going to get just a nice, good, huge rub off of him, whether that is a Matt Riddle or it ain't going to be a guy like Austin Theory no time soon, so you can pretty much forget about that one. Under the right circumstances, you would have had Ricochet really good and built up. WWE's in a very interesting position right here with Roman Reigns because we know that title, it's going to be dropping eventually, but the question is, okay, well, who is he going to drop it to? Because that's got to be a pretty big deal, mind you. That's got to be a pretty big deal when he drops that championship, because you're not just talking about Roman dropping the championship, you're also talking about that illustrious streak coming to an end. So who is going to be that one that's going to knock out two birds with one stone? You know, whether you want to just look at it in general or you want to look at it as a up and comer, right? I got Roman. It's very hard for me to pick against Roman Reigns. It's very hard for me to pick against him. I gotta tell you, I would truly be shocked if Brock comes out of that with the W. All things considered, I would be very, very shocked at that. Very shocked at that. All right, so one more time, taking it from night one and making our way to night night 2 here. And see, something else that you got to think about as well. I don't know about you guys, but it felt refreshing to have Roman Reigns back on Monday Night Raw again. And I honestly feel that's a taste of things to come. Let that guy bounce off of each shows on SmackDown and Raw. Let him go in between as the unified champion and mix it up with whoever the top baby faces are. Try to also at the same time build up some other guys. You can't really do that right now with Brock Lesnar, sadly. We don't want to be... Look, really think about it. Would you as a wrestling fan really want to be in that position where, okay, we got a new unified champion, but he's hardly showing up on the shows? And, right, he's gone yet again. So what do you do right here? Unless you go with the idea I had mentioned several weeks ago, which is, okay, well, Brock has the unified championship. Okay, that's great for him. Do you create a new championship as a result? Something I had alluded to some weeks back. I said, why not bring back the vintage Eagled Wing Championship, just newly designed? You can update it or whatever, but that would be a nice throwback of a championship to bring back, if you guys recall. Do you maybe do that? But then some of you guys can make the argument, well, that would defeat the whole purpose of doing a winner takes all, wouldn't it, Lee? So... You can't do that though. You just can't have Brock win the championship and then he's pretty much gone for several weeks. You cannot do that. You cannot do that. For that reason, you got to go with Roman. Even more the reason why you got to go with Roman. WWE in their own respective right, I'll give them credit where credit is due. They have been, in recent years, they have been trying to listen to the fans within reason. And I'm sure that the scrutiny and the criticism they had received, some years back when Brock was the champion and we rarely were seeing the guy, I'm sure that message heard loud and clear. So, and to WWE's credit, they've done their very best to make sure that they haven't tried to repeat history again in that type of fashion. So, yeah, I got to go with Roman. All right, so looking at night 1 and 2, once again, as far as winners go, for night 1, I'm looking at Ronda Rousey over Charlotte Flair. Rollins will lose to his mystery opponent. I am going with, it's a coin toss. I am going with Goldberg. That's my number 1 pick. If it's not Goldberg, John Cena. I've got New Day over Sheamus and Ridge Holland. Usos retain the SmackDown Tag Titles over Nakamura and Rick Boogs. McIntyre gets a dub over Happy Corbin, giving Happy Corbin his first defeat as a singles competitor since he's been under this Happy Corbin gimmick. Very close to call, but I'm going with Miz and Logan Paul over the Mysterios, hopefully setting up Dom to turn on his dad. Bianca Belair becoming the new Raw Women's Champion. I got that for night 1. For night 2, I'm looking at Natalya and Shayna Baszler as your new Women's Tag Champions. Johnny Knoxville, meanwhile, gets a dub over Sami Zayn. Pat McAfee over Austin Theory. RK Bro over Street Profits and Alpha Academy to retain the Raw Tag Titles. AJ Styles over Edge. Omos over Bobby Lashley. And for the winner takes all to unify the WWE Championship and Universal Championship, very close, but I'm going with Roman Reigns over Brock Lesnar. That is how I'm looking at both nights for WrestleMania. And don't forget, yes, I will be doing a post show on both nights. Saturday night, soon as WrestleMania goes off, hop on the usual outlets. Definitely show love on the Facebook so we can see everybody's comments and all that. But we'll be streaming live on all the outlets and on Sunday night, rinse and repeat. It's going to be good. It's going to be loads fun. I promise you guys. So make sure you tune in. Hey, if you made it up to this point, do me a huge favor if you haven't done so already. It only takes 2 seconds. Make sure you hit that like button. When you do that, you really help supercharge content like this and make it very easy for others to discover. So do that, and thanks, because it really helps out a ton, and it also lets folks know, hey, I like this. This is cool. You should check this out. That way we can grow the community even more. Also, feel free to subscribe. That's also free. Subscribe so you never miss out on future content that comes your way. As long as you click on the bell notification, if you're checking this out via YouTube, you'll always know about new content that comes your way. You can get at me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Use the keywords The RCWR Show. I'm mainly interacting on Twitter and via the YouTube communities board, so feel free to get at me on those respected outlets. Let me know what your predictions are for WrestleMania weekend. I do read and respond to every single comment that comes my way, whether it's on videos or throughout social media. Might take me maybe some hours or a day, but I usually get around to responding to everybody that takes the time out. Check out my content. All right. So that is going to do it. I'm wishing all of you all to be safe and most importantly, be kind to one another. And I will see you guys for WrestleMania weekend. Well, let's not also forget, we got the Hall of Fame ceremony. I will be live after the Hall of Fame ceremony goes off the air. We'll do a special live post show. I'll do a nice little wrap up. I'll give thoughts, but I'll catch you guys for that and for WrestleMania coverage, man. Until next go around, wishing all of y'all to be safe and most importantly, be kind to one another. Y'all take care.